I feel bad because my absolute plan was to talk about the good things in your career, because you've had a lot of great things, and I
Oh,
feel like
that's boring. That's boring anyway.
well, what's not boring is, and you mentioned her before, and being brought up in Russia as Maria Sharapova was the absolute star at the time. Not just in Russia, but in the global game, and that was a win that you had, and again. It was something I wanted to talk about. And then I listened to you again speaking on Renee's podcast, and you told such a great story about before you played against her.
Yeah.
And I can't have you on without you sharing that story.
Yeah. So before I played Maria, I was trying my new outfit that I bought. Actually, I'm sponsored by Lululemon now, but I went and bought this outfit, and I was like trying it on in front of the mirror, and I don't know, I really did believe that I could beat her. I mean, I don't know where it came from, and I don't even have the right to. I didn't even have the right to believe that I would beat her, but I did. I really thought that I'm gonna win. And I was like, I didn't even know, or I wasn't aware of, what's it called when you're, the imaginary,
Visualization.
Wasn't even aware of it, but that's basically what I did. So I was like visualizing like winning points and how I would celebrate. And then I was like, like visualizing how I would win the match point and how I would celebrate. I mean, the celebration was completely different to probably what I've done in the mirror, but then, yeah, it's crazy how just because it obviously not because I've done that, that's why I won, but I think it's really, really, really important to have the belief, and I think that's like that's another reason, I guess, why I'm good at tennis, is because I really have the belief. I never, the only player that I literally was like, I'm not beating her, was Serena. I was trying to fake myself. Like, how you can believe in something, but you're like, you just tell yourself that, like, it's not actually like coming from, like, it's
from
not
within,
true,
isn't it? Yeah.
not coming from within. But with like Serena, it was not coming from within. I was like, yeah, I've got this, but then this other voice, like, it's Serena, like, what do you have, like, you've got nothing.
How good was Serena in her prime?
And it's funny because I've played her a few times. I played her even like in 2013. I was like a baby. I was a lucky loser. I won my first round, and then this whole time when I was playing the first round, I was thinking, oh my God, I have an opportunity to play Serena, because she had a bye. And then, I mean, I actually played well. Like, I've never even won a set against her. But then the other times when I played her, I don't think it wasn't her prime, But every time I would lose, I would say, yeah, that was the real Serena. That was it. Because you know how she came back a few times and dropped off and blah, blah, blah. So, and I've played her a few times where her ranking was down and she wasn't like at her best. But I swear every time I played her, I was like, that's it. She played really well. And my brother would always give me shit. He would be like, yeah, for some reason, you always say the same thing. And Serena only plays her best whenever she plays against you. And I'm like, yep, that's it.
But it's so interesting because what I was about to ask, and maybe you've already answered the question, was have you ever won a match that you've gone into the match not believing that you can win the match?
Probably, but I wouldn't remember.
Okay.
Maybe, probably, but also maybe not. But I think I do have the belief, like the within belief most of the time.
And your results show that, I mean, this year, I know, I mean, Raducanu's ranking dropped, but at the time you played her, she was right up there. Jabeur, Kvitkova, Pegula, you've beaten these top 10 players in the world this year. When your ranking, I know that your level's different to your ranking, but your ranking gave you no right. So what's the secret to you? One, belief, but what's the secret on getting over the line and beating these top 10 players in the world?
The Twitter trolls. I'm kidding. It's just every time because like I said, I like search myself up. They just they go crazy. They're like, who the fuck is this? Why did she beat like
Oh, really?
Kvitova and stuff? And it's just funny. But I think maybe it motivates me even more when the odds and to be fair, it is so much easier to play someone you shouldn't beat. It's a lot easier. And that's where I have like so much respect for Ash, for example. She's always beaten someone she should beat. Like she barely lost against someone ranked much lower than her. So it's from like in terms of like motivation, it's so much easier for me to play on a big court against a top 10 player rather than playing a 25 against someone ranked 300.
You sound like Nick Kyrgios.
No, but it's true. It's 100% true. And it happened to me this year. I went to Bronx and I knew I would struggle, and I do struggle with this. I actually do struggle with this. Like sometimes I love the big moments. I don't really like playing in front of no one.
Yep.
It sucks. It really
Yeah.
does. And that's why I think sometimes you see all this random results. It's because some players just like they really struggle.
So
But I've also not done so well like at Grand Slams. Like I think I've underdone. I haven't achieved anything great at slams. Like I've made just twice
yet.
fourth round yet. And that's another reason why I want to get back. And I was like, it sucks that I got injured because I really started like working on it with my mental coach and my team, because it was pretty tough for me after I lost the first round at US Open. I don't know if you saw my Instagram post I went on about.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
And I think, well, what I wrote, just for the listeners, like I said, I kind of went on about how Grand Slams are so much different than any other tournament, and how hectic it is, and we only ever like get to practice at it like 4 times a year, where every other tournament we'll play if we wanted to, we could play almost every week. And I don't know, I think that's also another reason why I think the women's tennis is so inconsistent, because I think a lot of girls have maybe the same struggles as me, that they put so much more pressure on themselves at Grand Slams.
And do you think that pressure comes externally? Because what I love,
Both.
both.
Yeah.
Because what I love about this conversation, like your honesty comes through so loud and clear, you know, and I think, and I speak to a lot of players on the podcast who are brilliant, but to get to the level of honesty that you're giving isn't always easy. Whereas, but I think it's really important because I think when we watch you guys on TV, it's almost like looking at robots sometimes. You're not real in some ways because
Yeah.
we see you guys are certainly the Serenas and the Rogers, the Raffas, of the world. And it's sometimes easy to forget that there's a person in there. There's a person who,
It's like if we're acting, like honestly, and sometimes we do have to act, and that's like and one thing that we're like we said with the what we're talking about with the team, that on court you kind of have to be an actress, like you have to freaking fake it.
absolutely.
But I think also you can do that, but also I think it's important. Like for me, I really want to um I actually am a bit like upset, the Netflix show, it's gonna come out, and I'm like got it that, like I'm honest, like I would have fucking loved being in it. And I was like, I was gonna be so honest. I was gonna like tell them the whole freaking story. And I'm like, I'm really excited to see it, but I'm like, please just be honest. Like don't make it like don't romanticize the tour.
Yeah.
Like if you're just gonna like make it look like, oh, here like she's struggling because she's injured, like fuck, everyone gets injured, whatever. Like let's like breaking down, like everyone is fighting their own demons. Like I really want to see how, if this show is going to be like honest, and maybe um and that's when viewers and the fans are going to see a different perspective. Because right now, you're right, it's just robots, and when we do interviews it's the same shit. We all say the same shit. Yeah, like I've played well. What are your expectations? Like when journalists ask these questions, they actually like everyone has freaking expectations.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own goal, but you're not gonna say it. And I think I really want that like the Netflix show to make it look real and not just romanticize it and make it like, I think it's all going to be about Nick, to be honest, the show, but at least he's honest.
Yeah, well, he's certainly real, isn't he?